Hello everyone and welcome back to the tutorial on how to create a referral code with Stripe, Firebase, and React. Today we're actually going to be on the Google Cloud platform and we're going to be creating a cloud function that's going to run our Stripe webhooks. And it's going to be able to manage our user purchases. So today, first you want to start out by logging in. If you haven't been able to find your project, you have to go over here to select a project. Here it's in my recent, but you do actually want to go to all to find your project here. And then what you want to do is you want to type up here and you want to look up cloud run. And here's where we're going to be able to create our functions here. So we can actually go up to here to click to write a function. And here you'll have an enable billing. You want to have some sort of card on file to be able to use the service. It does not cost much. In some of my productions for the actual builds, it costs me anywhere between $1 and $3 a month, and that's with thousands of users using our application. So it's not going to cost you a dime, or if anything, it's going to cost you a penny or two. So make sure to have some sort of payment or billing account set up here. All right, so now that you have your billing set up, you want to go to the Cloud Run service. You want to create functions here. You can set it up through GitHub or Docker Hub or any of these two. I'm going to just go with the function, which is going to have an inline editor. Here we're going to have our name as Stripe Webhook, all lowercase. We're going to allow unauthenticated invocations, which will create a public API or our website here. And then here we don't have to mess around or change any of these settings. We can just go and create. And here it'll pop up with the Cloud Build API. If it's not enabled, you want to click enable and let that progress, and then it should go through the process of creating. And there we go, we have our Google Cloud function here. And now what we want to do, we're actually going to change the Node.js. We're going to change it to 20. We can keep the 22 environment, or Ubuntu 22 environment. And now what we're going to do is we're going to edit our package.json. All right, so we have our dependencies here, and what we want to do is we want to add a couple of dependencies to our project. We're going to add a Stripe dependency, and the version that we're going to import in is this. We're going to have the caret key 14.11.0. We're going to have a comma, and then we're going to also add the Firebase admin, and that is going to be version, we don't need that. It's going to be version 12. It's going to have that caret key 12.0.0. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add another file here. We're going to call it service account, service account key. Service account key .json. So what this service key is going to do is it's going to be able to it's going to allow us to edit documents for our users, be able to edit the amount of money they have in their accounts. So here we're going to be able to, we have to go back, we have to go to our project settings, and we want to go to service accounts. And here we already have 11 of them. Now we want to create a new private key. It's going to give you this warning. You want to keep it confidential and never store it in a public repository. I'm going to click create. Then we're going to open this here in our project. We're going to copy all of this here, minimize it, go back to our cloud function and hit paste. And this is where our service key will live. And then what we're going to do is going to go to our index.js file. We're going to change the entry point here to Stripe Web. It's going to be our Stripe Webhook. I just like to change the names just so we can read it at the top here and know what function it is. We don't need this res start, and we're going to import a couple of things. First, we're going to import our Stripe. So we're going to do import Stripe is equal to the require. And it's going to have, we're going to have Stripe. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I have to do const Stripe. We're also going to import our Firebase, a couple of Firebase things. First is going to be the initialize app. And then we're also going to insert the cret, or import the cret. This is going to be from our require. That's going to be from our Firebase admin app/app. So what this is going to allow us to do is we're going to be able to import our service account. It's going to equal to require, and we're going to search in our internal files here. So it's going to be /, and it's going to be our service account key .json. And then for here, this is going to grab our service account. Now we want to be able to initialize it in our cloud function. So we're going to do initialize app, open the curly brackets here, and we're going to have credential. And here we're going to put in and do cret, which is a function that allows us to insert our credentials through. And we're going to pass through our service account, which is going to be that private account key that we registered in Firebase to initialize things. And then we're going to have import a couple more things. Yeah, we're going to have our get Firestore. We're going to use this to find and update our database, and Firestore for our user's account for money. And then we're going to have our field value here, which is going to allow you to update the field. We're going to grab this from our something called require, and we're going to grab it from the Firebase -admin /Firestore. Okay. And we'll start with here, or start that here. We can then save and deploy. And we'll come back to this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our Stripe, and we're going to look up our webhook hooks again, and we want to create an event destination. So our endpoint URL is going to be our webhook, this thing right here. We're going to copy that. I'm going to paste our end hook here, and since it's public, it should be able to connect. And then here, we want to have one event. We're going to go to our checkout, and it's going to be our checkout complete, and that's going to be able to handle our events here. We're going to have that in Node.js because we want to be able to copy all this stuff here. Or we want to be able to come back and copy, well, we're going to copy a couple of things. First is we're going to copy this part of our code here to grab our headers and signatures and things. So we're going to go back to our source code here, Well, it looks like our function's still loading. We're still uploading. Oh no, there we go. So we want to edit our source code. We want to paste this here for now. And then for that request, we're going to do our EQ to get that request. And then we're going to want to get something called a payload, which is from our request body. And here in our Google Cloud function, the request body sometimes comes in differently. So we're going to call the payload is equal to, we're going to have request, and we're going to get the raw body. And we'll copy that payload and we're going to paste it here. We have our signature, and then we need our endpoint secret. Now our endpoint secret is going to be this long string here, and it's going to be different for everybody. So I'm going to copy that. I'm actually going to paste it inside the function here, and that's going to get our webhooks, or our secret webhook here. And then what we also want to do is we want to get something that handles the event here. So we're going to copy that, and after it does a try and catch here, we're going to paste the web handle hook here. And then what we're also going to do is delete the response here and just have res. So that will send a 400 error for a webhook error. And then we have our checkout session completed data handling right here. So we have all that set up. If we go back, there's nothing else. No other events that we need. We'd have just the one, so we can go back. And yeah, that's it. We can then add, we want to add, go here, check out, and then click add event. So we have our event handled here. And then we want to click add endpoint. So now we have our webhooks. We can reveal the secret here if we need that web secret. We can copy it, make sure that that's our webhook secret, and it doesn't look like it is. I'm going to just paste that webhook secret here. Oh, what is that? Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to copy this, paste that in here. So that's our webhook secret. And then what we're going to want to do is when it go back, we want to go to the API keys, and this is our secret key. We want to be able to copy that secret key, and when we call our Stripe package up here, we want to go and put our Stripe secret key up here. In here, you want to replace this with your own API secret key. You don't want to try to use mine. So we'll save that, and now we have our basic handling for our data here. And there's a couple of things we want to grab for our data here. So first, it's going to be our ID from this event object here. So it's going to be our session ID. That's going to be equal to our checkout session completed .id. We then want to grab the payment. We want to grab the payment status. This is going to check to see if our user has paid or not, and if it hasn't, it's not going to run the code. So it's going to do, we're going to have payment, we're going to have underscore status. And then we also want to get the UID, which is going to be equal to, it's it's going to be equal to our checkout session completed dot client reference ID. And what else? I believe that is all the things we're going to want to get for now. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we want to be able to list out the Stripe items, because we want to be able to get what product was purchased for our Stripe ID. So first what we're going to do is we're going to get we're going to type Stripe dot, it's going to be checkout, actually add, we do stripe.checkout.sessions list line items. And here what we're gonna pass through our session ID, and then we're also gonna have a function gonna have an error or check for errors, and we're gonna also have our line items. And then for here, we're gonna check to see, we're gonna check for errors. So if we do try here, and we'll have a catch error, and we'll print out the error. Do something similar to this. Here, copy and paste that. And this will be our line item error. So in our try, we want to check our payment status. So if the payment status is equal to, and we're going to check to see if it is paid. If it's paid, we're going to run through our items here, and then before we check for that if statement, we're going to grab a couple of things from our items. We're going to grab the first line item, which should be just the first item in your list. It's going to be equal to line items 0. And how we have things set up, there's always going to be one product in our list here. We're not going to have multiple products. And then we're going to have the product ID that is equal to the line item dot price dot product. And then we're going to get the product name. Actually, we don't need the product name in this one. We're just going to have the product ID. So through here, we're going to then have a switch statement. It's going to have the product ID, and then we're going to have a case for all of our products here, and we're going to have 4 cases here. And we're going to have break. I'm going to set the switch statement up here. And then we'll have a default case. And it's not going to add anything. We're also going to have up top here, we're gonna have a variable that's gonna be able to change, and it's gonna be item, or it's gonna be called more money. We'll set that equal to 0 for now. So now what we want to do is we want to go back to Stripe. We want to go to our product catalog here, and you can see the products that we have. If you click into here, we have our product ID for money 50. And we want to click and get that product ID, and we want to paste it into the case here. And then now that we know for our money here, it's going to be plus equals 50, and that's the amount that's going to be able to change here. So then what we're going to want to do is we're going to go back to our products here. We want to get the 1,000. We want to do the same. We want to paste that product ID and then go through more money plus equals 1,000. Go back to our products, click copy, paste. We'll have more money is equal plus equals 20,000, and then we'll go back and we'll get that 500,000 here, copy, paste, and we'll have more money plus equals to 500,000. And here we'll leave a comment here. It's 20,000, 500,000, just so it's easier to read. Alright, and then of course in the default case, we're not gonna add any money to the user's account. Okay, so now it's going to go through, it's going to take that more money, it's initially equal to 0, it's going to add the amount depending on what the product is, and then what we want to do is we want to be able to add it to our database here, or we want to update the user. So here what we're going to do is we're going to, up here, we're going to get a Firestore. So here, underneath the events, we're going to do const db, and that's going to equal to get Firestore. Oops. Get Firestore. That's all we have to do there. And then once we've gone through our paid status here, now we're going to update the user. So here will be update user, and what we'll have here is we'll have the DB, and we'll have the collections, we'll go through our collection, and we want to go to the users with the doc being our UID, which is the user ID that we get from our client reference ID. And then we'll do a dot update. Here we'll pass through, will be the money variable, and here we'll use the field value dot increment. This will increase the amount by the more money variable. And then we'll have a dot then. And what this will do is it will just check to see how the user, if it got an error or not. We don't want to have a plus, we want to have an equals. And then here we can have, if it passed through, we can have something here, maybe 200 instead of a error, it will be a good message. It will be document successfully updated. Updated, and then the dot, we'll have a dot catch here, have an error, and we'll take this here and it will be document update error, and then we'll get that error message here, and that's it. That should be our Stripe webhook. And that should be it for now. So we'll save and deploy everything, and I'll be right back once all of this is built. Hi everyone, this is Post Edit Me. I did not put in the line items dot data in the Google Cloud function for the Stripe webhook. This grabs the data from the line items, and that's what it was throwing a bunch of errors when I was trying to run the code. So if you guys were following along, please put in the line item variable, you want to get the line items.data, and you want to get that first line item data. Then I went through, and I'm going to show you guys an example of how this is used. Back to the project, and you run the project, you go to the pricing table, and you make a purchase. You want to just use a random email, and you want to use the card that has 4242, and then you want to have a date that's further, that's in the future, random CSV, a random cardholder name, and a random zip code. Once you make a successful purchase, the prompt would run through, and you can see here that the code worked, and that was because of that one line error. So you just want to double check your code. In the description, there should be a version of the code there for you. And that is it for this video. If you liked this tutorial series so far, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. In the future, we are going to be looking into how to create the coupon codes, and then hooking up those referral and coupon codes to really put all this whole project together. And again, I hope you guys enjoy the tutorial series, and I'll see you in the next episode.